Good evening and welcome back to the Big O Division 4 recap. I'm XS, your usual host this season, and let's take a look at the games that happened in the round of week 2 and some results that may have surprised you. The top story of the hour is the Kislev dream dead? After the Russian-led monumental week 1 victory, they were quickly brought back down to earth with the Amazons crushing them in a 2-1 display of power. Perhaps it was an early call said that it was a year of Kislev. We'll have to find out next week, won't we? As they've been temporarily grounded. But as an all doom and gloom, newcomer and Division 4 debutant Varkson, returning from a long-term injury himself, has started off his campaign in the strongest fashion by dismantling or really grinding Synergy's L's into the pitch in a powerful 2-1 display. How well it will continue, we'll have to see how it goes. But so far, the Bandits are looking real scary early on. Rounding out the Division 4A news, it's the Amazons on top. The Jungle Cats and known as Dodgy Dames try to say that 3 times without having to restart this part by Shadow Tricks and Tiny Team respectively, are leading the division outright with a win and a draw each. The Jungle Cats currently ahead by 1 sole touchdown difference, but having already played each other in week 1, who's going to stop these Zons? They are looking real formidable, and I can't see a real answer to them anytime soon. Now, take a look at the results for the round that just was. It was kicked off with a 1-0 win for the Bullhawks, overcoming Van's Warp Zone Tour, the Underworld itself, with a costly win with Ben the Bloods catcher taking the MVP and the Niggle as well, unfortunately. Looking at the Underworld right there, you've got Derptop Dolly with the MVP. A great one for the Troll, but no injuries or other levels at this point of time. Up next was the pre-mentioned the Jungle Cats taking out a monstrous 2-0 over the Kislev there, where a couple perms on some pieces are quite unfortunate. You've got Panther there, the Bloodstep with guard, Mighty Blow Blitzer, and 72 with the Rackle line movement as well. Bit of a shame there, but we do level up Cheetah, the anti-full line movement as well, who has taken Blodge as expected to round it out. MVP also on Kruger, and Zara, always love seeing her on the pitch, unless you're Kislev, because the strength for Bloods is kind of hard to deal with in a division where tackle is already such a premium. Carrying on, it's the battered Kislev, an MNG onto Parkati, and MVP onto Buckmaker. The other Blitzers is fantastic news actually. The Edge 6 as well, still alive. MNG on the Bloodstep catcher and a rookie lineman. It means there's nothing too bad, honestly, for the Kislev against. They can rebuild. It's just a painful loss against a chance to really get a game clear early on. I mean, and it's worse yet, there's still more Zons in this division, which is probably the worst matchup you can think for a Kislev who just bloats so hard. Carrying on, of course, it is return of the Bandits, Binchuk Bandits. That's Varkson. Big win over Synergy. It's a 2-1 result. No levels I can see here, at least no perms as well. It was a pretty decisive win. I mean, I saw bits of it on the top being casted, but it didn't look like he was any real danger. Just, I'd be sneaking that monstrous ball carrier, you know, moving up, as you up strength and blodge is just so hard to handle. And again, all this deceptively speedy Tomb Guardians and Blitzers rounds out a very solid team. As you look at the elves just here, you've got a couple dead, or Blood's almost an elf catcher who's been niggled. You've got the Armusted Loner who cares, and MG Kicker, that's a bit of a shame. MVP leveling on, that would be, what's that, Dirty Elfling, who I'm hoping is Dirty player. But alas, it's been dirtier Dodge. There you go. The core pieces are alive still, of course. The move and catch is alive, along with double War Dancer. Again, since he was missing an Agi War Dancer this game, who has returned. So we'll see how that one goes. He should bounce back. As for the next game, there was a 3-2, so you've got Tiny to be actually out Morkering Morker there. With the Amazons doing a real good job just battering someone else, really. Again, Zon's really strong on the TV, a lot of blodge, hard to knock down, a lot of guard, a lot of mighty blow doing work. And as you can tell, it's Pele the fragile, not so fragile, of course, living to get guard on that team. Tiny team, of course, liking getting blodge that piece, which, yep, looking now has been confirmed. Other than that, no perms coming out of that game. It's just a strong looking result for them. Same can't be said, unfortunately, for the Wood Elves there. That is a lot of red crosses there. This Amazon's doing bad things to Wood Elves. A dead Mighty Boy Wilson. He was niggled, of course. Second one is still alive there. Methanethal. That's the name of the half. Dead tree MVP levels but dies is a shame. Super catcher gets badly hurt. A couple of MGs on a dodge piece and then also a loner. Who cares? Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I mean, you still got a super catcher who is armor 6, of course, that you don't see on the screen, and a second Mighty Blow War Dancer, which is kind of nice. But yeah, that's just a bitter pill to swallow there for Morka. Next game, of course, it was only played last night. The Dodging Honors getting the job done against Blockhampton there. A pretty 2-1 result, I believe. Yep, 2-1 result. Looking at it now. Not too bad. Came at a price, so it was an hour bus on Modern Muffin. The best splits with a lot, of course. The one with tackle and blood step rather than either rather. Badly MG on a runner as well. So no sure hands. Next game could potentially be bad. And MVP course onto lasting life, which is, you know, getting those linemen developed to dodge or wrestle can help round this team out. It's just what the doctor ordered here. Looking at Blockhampton, of course, in a bit of a tough loss there. Alan busted on a guard blocker as well. Feels really, really, really bad. But 2 levels on blitzes will make Pickles feel a fair bit better. Of course, looking at now, it's Mighty Blow on the rental. That's an exceptional double to roll there. So that's his kill sorted. And sure hands on the movement 7 opting, you know, speed. I mean, sure hands on the speediest piece makes perfect sense. Now moving on to Division 4B news. Top biggest story is the Chorfs has fallen short as the other kids have bounced back in a monstrous upset there. A boiler at the dreaded Lombardia. It was a horror show for the Chorfs. Just could not get off the ground. Aussie Viking is living. He's left wondering what will it take to get that first win of the season. I mean, it's only 7 weeks before. Oh, let's see, that's a lie. Only 7 more weeks before the play-in split, and you've got to be top 5 to make it to that play-in. So that if you want the chance of Challengers Cup or that one playoff ticket, it's going to be real tough to bounce back if you can't get a result very soon. In other news, at least, you got Rumo and his High Elves, the Soaring Ramo Ponies, looking unbeatable at this stage. 2 wins from 2 outings, and I mean, it was a bye week first round, but the team itself looking exceptionally strong. Is this the next big elf team coming out of Big O? God, it's a bold call to make. But you know what? He's got the pedigree to do so. Rumo's had some legendary high elf teams, and this could be the return of form. Perhaps this may be the team that takes that extra bit further than he couldn't make before with the ponies. Well, previous ponies, I should say. To the rest of the 4B results, it was a 1-1 draw between the Crimson Cutthroats and the Big O's Bubonic Blights. That's a Nurgle and human team. As Pancakes, his Dodge Heavy humans are still struggling to find that result there. I mean, tough first game against old foes and Havoc. Second game against the Big Nurgle, so some real high strength up matchups. Perhaps a less bashy team approach getting that first win. But I mean, no perms, the MVP on a really good catcher could be the catalyst what he needs to bounce back here. Looking at the Nurgle, of course, it is no surprise that festering along quite nicely. You got some Mighty Blow on the Warriors, apart from that one Bloodsman, who's MG'd, of course. Beast got guard, plenty of dirty player, Rodder getting the MVP. Kind of a shame, but it's not at least, you know, the Blood number 3 who has apparently set up 3 MVPs. Those Pesticles, all 4 of them already. This team already at a eye-rolling TV value of 1580 by just what, a season and a half? That's a lot of TV for a baby Nurgle team that only has 7 block, 3 Mighty Blow, 1 dodge, 1 guard, 2 dirty player. I mean, you're leveraging those big roster and that big fouling game, so he's got to make sure he's using it, or else it's going to cost him results, because Wizards very good against Nurgle. Hasn't cost him any games yet, but so far a draw and a win week 1. We'll see how Sam can counteract it. Of course, next was a bye win for the Ogres. Of course, doesn't show me this in clients, so I've got to show you here. It was a level onto Blake Stone, so another dirty player, not a dirty player, a diving tackle there, Nobler. Wish I was a dirty player, that'd be great. But again, eye-watering TVs, that's nearly 2Ks of big boy Ogres, and currently a 2-0 record. It's the top of the table officially over Harima. Equal touchdown difference though, but man, not too bad. As for the other bye week, that's Darby's one. He's already played this round as well, so I can use his image next week as well. So, you know, 4,000 IQ there. But he has leveled his player, has not taken any skills yet, no leveled results. Team on paper looks fantastic. It's just, he can't roll a 3+ continuously. And until Darby can you can reliably roll a 3+ or re-roll to Orcs again, he's not going to win many games. Sorry, mate. Next game, of course, was a massive upset. A 2-0 victory from the Kislev over the Chorfs. I mean, you're thinking... I think I'll almost certain the Chorfs were in the TV efficient team heading this matchup as well. But no, this is a baby Kislev. You're looking at probably 6 games worth because they were re-rolled midway post-split. And... yeah, massive result of block, of course, on Vladimir, the number 3, of course, one that's spelled incorrectly. MVP on the guard lineman is exceptional, getting close to block. And no dead is the more important thing, considering how much money blow Aussie's swinging. Speaking of the Chorfs, you're looking at now, it was a slightly misleading poster. The Bull Cities 2 did live, despite playing its first or second game. Apo works because it's cheating. And yeah, tough result there. You would have thought that on paper you would have been real happy with that game with all this money blow and all this guard and dirty players and no real answer for that Bull, but no, it wasn't meant to be. Moving Bust and Pelagius, that's cool. It will be the end of it, I presume, plus the MVP getting the shorthand slide. Might be something that Aussie can target next game to try and get him a real good ball carrier. Other than that, nothing particularly new of note. Next game, of course, was a 2-1 win. The Ponies knocking off the Underworld team. The Underworld being, of course, my favourite team in Big O. Control Cutthroats, of course. The 2 best Goblins playing. Actually, they missed this game, didn't they? So they couldn't have killed him. That said, plenty of development. The kicker getting a bus isn't the end of the world. It's still useful. MVP on the wrestler, it's great. A level on the catcher as well, exceptionally good. And along with the thrower, who did mention the flex, he turned down doubles on that piece, which which would have been strong usually, but he's gone block instead. But the Blodge has gone tackle, which is sorely needed in this. Also, deceptively Blodge heavy Division 2. I mean, everyone raves about Division 4A being the Blodge one, but 4B's got a lot of Blodge there too. Just all unexpected pieces like humans as well, which is some bit of blodginess to it. Looking at the Underworld, of course, it was a rough day. Skitter Stab came in and got stabbed by well, not really stabbed, he got pummeled, I guess. Leveled Goblin up there. I mean, well, he's missing his 2 best players, unfortunately, the Frenzy Goblin and the Wrestle Horns. But yeah, it's a tough day to be Underworld, where your blitzers are kind of really undercooked, isn't it? And that's what unfortunately is going to have to be. MVP on to Hodgkin's though is exceptionally good because that lineman at strength forward is hard to really keep in development to, and once it gets blocked, it's so much better. Looking at now, the Underworld again. Sid Krim, another doubles, this time has taken guard, my hero. God, I love this team. And again, Skaven Throw rolls Blodge, so this team gets even blodgier. So, Bloton, Sav, Bloton, you glorious bastard. I love your work. And look at the live ladder now. We mentioned earlier in the cast that 4A has been ruled by the 2 zones. So you got Arcs there, started first game this week, up at the leaders, of course. Far too early to call season over, unless you're an Aussie, of course, who I'll call that. But I mean, 4A is pretty close. I mean, only a couple losses. No team has lost twice yet. I mean, it's only week 3, so that's kind of a given, apart from the bye week. But they're not playing anymore in Div. They're not playing anymore, period. So every team's got a point on the board. Just Mork and Pickles have yet to get a win yet, by virtue of they drew each other week 1, and both had pretty rough games this week previously. Over in 4B, some teams with some bye weeks looking real happy. Of course, Rumour, Ed Havoc, Aussie, they've all had a bye week. Darby has just had his bye week as well. Expect to see that even out eventually, but of course, it's still only on a couple of front runners as well. So those teams who have a bye and then actually win the following game, kind of getting an early lead, but it is, again, a real false lead, I should suggest, because you're not as far ahead of other teams with buys in hand to come. So we'll see how it looks play week 5 before we make any calls. Remember, it is the top 5 teams of both divisions who will go on to play-ins. The play-ins will, of course, decide the 1 playoff ticket and the 3 Challenger Cup spots. But we'll get that coverage closer by the end of week 9. We'll see how that goes. My predictions, I should say, for week 3 coming up ahead. It's the Amazons versus the Pro Elves, man. And that's, on paper, I love Pro Elves, but I just don't see any team stopping the Jungle Cats. I think this is probably after what they did to Kislev as well, they're probably the nastiest team in the division. So should be a good, probably 2-1 grind. The Amazons, Synergy versus Underworld. I picked Synergy last season when they played, and Lordicans just diced twice, so I'm going to go Lordicans this time. Sorry, Synergy, but I see how you roll dice. Same for Morka. I think that on paper, he would like his chances. I think he's a better coach, but Maxwell, that Kislev team, is a team built to beat Elves, so I'm going to Kislev there as well. Pickles versus Varkson, that could get ugly for Blockhampton, although do they have a way to deal with that strength carry? They do have Dauntless, I guess, but I have to see what it induces. I might go for his draw there as well, but I mean, if Pickles wants to make postseason, he really needs to win that game. And it's a dodgy nodder off. It's the dodgy nodders versus the nodders dodgy dames. I'm going to say the Dark Elves. I think Sir Shaken's got the answer to Tiny Timmies. I'm not sure how it went last time they played, but who knows? You know, I can't be picking Zons twice a week. That just feels really bad. And I refuse to have that here. As for 4B action, it is the Crimson Cutthroat. It's a bye week. That's a nice one. Can have a good time. A bye week for the kids as well. Fantastic. Sav Underworld Control versus the Controliest team, of course. Similar TV-wise as well, hilariously, because of how much doubles that Underworld has. But Sam's lack of tackle hasn't been a problem this season against Bloods. He just powers everything. I will back the Underworld here because I think Horns Wrestle is going to do a thing, and I love it. And I think Rumors should bully Ed Havoc's Snotlings, just dance away from those big nasty ogres. Of course, Aussie and W play because someone had to move house and lose to Chew Off this week and make my whole narrative that Aussie not having a good season look really bad. But it's okay, Darby. Love your work, mate. Safe travels and better luck next week when you actually, again, can roll a 3+. And that's all for me, folks, this evening. I've been Excess. Thank you for joining me for this Division 4 recap. Best luck with your games. Make sure you post on Reddit. And, yeah, roll a bit of dice. Seriously, guys. Like, we don't have a stand-up winner yet. It's week 3. I need to, hype someone up. Alright, best of luck on the pitch. See you next time.